Today we're going to be looking at completing our bill of materials, and this may be housed in lots of different places depending on what our term looks like, but the process is all the same. We may even have different pieces depending on the project that we're building, whether this is a Woods 1, Woods 2 project, whether this is still during the COVID pandemic or hybrid or distance, however we're doing class, but this worksheet is still the same. And it's really, really important that we understand how to do a bill of materials. You could think of this as the receipt for your assignment. It's the way that we track all of the expenses from our assignment and know how much our lab fee should be. So this is something that if we were in business, understanding the cost of our raw materials is a huge factor in determining how much we're going to charge for whatever product or service that we are going to offer. So one of the great big expenses that we have, if we were a company, let's say we were Wayzata Woodworking, and it was our job to manufacture bookshelves or nightstands, we would need to know how much money we had into the raw materials, the lumber, the plywood, the screws, the glue, all of that stuff. And to do that, we are going to use our bill of materials. So ours happens for this class happens to be due on the 21st of January, but I'm going to click on bill of materials, and you're going to see 3 different documents, and you're also going to see this video when it's done living here. Bill of materials, you have an option to open it up in a Google Doc form that's edited, that you can make a copy of and type in numbers. That's what a lot of people like to do. You could open it up as a PDF and just write the numbers in on Notability. And there's also this quick sheet of instructions that if you forget what you're doing, that might be a really useful tool. I'm going to open it up in a Google Doc because it is easiest for me to type so that you guys can see it. One of the things that you're going to see when we open this up is that we have 2 different equations on the top of it. We've got to boil down all of our solid wood, like the frame of our door, to a board foot. And a board foot is a unit of measure that's 12 inches wide, 12 inches long, and 1 inch thick. Or we need to get it to the square foot price. So anything that comes in a 4x8 sheet, like your case sides, any shelves that you have, that all comes in 4x8 sheets, and that we have to figure out the square foot price. And you'll notice the difference in these two is that the board foot takes thickness into account, and sheet stock does not. It just has width times length divided by 144. So that can be a little bit confusing, so we're going to work through a couple examples here with you. I am also going to open up the nightstand packet, and right now it's housed right here. I'm on the wrong class. My apologies. It is housed right here, nightstand packet link, because this is where we're going to get the sizes for all of our pieces. Now, you may not be in this, hopefully you're not in the middle of a pandemic when you are doing this assignment, and so you might have things like a door or a drawer. Even if you took this class as a hybrid option or a distance option, you may have gotten to build a door. So everybody's is going to look a little bit different depending on how much you got done on the assignment. But this is the one that we're in right now for the class, so I'm going to use this. And these pages are going to be extremely useful. So I only want to work with my final dimensions. So on solid wood, we often cut things large and then we plane them down or cut them down to be a final size. And that's the final size that I want to use for my bill of materials. So I am going to use the bottom rail for an example. So my bottom rail is 3 inches by 11 inches, and I have 1 of them. So I'm going to go back to bill of materials here, and I'm going to say name of piece is bottom rail, and I have 1 of them. Now I got to remember what it is, what it's made out of. Usually at the top of the sheet it'll tell you solid wood 3/4 thick. Now you may have done alder or oak. That's fine. Write down whatever you did. I did mine out of oak, and the width was 3 inches. The length was 11 inches. And now thickness can be a little bit of a challenge when we're looking at solid wood. You guys could probably all imagine with me, if we were running a sawmill, the initial saw cut that takes that lumber and turns it into boards probably doesn't go real slow. It's probably going as quick as it can, and it doesn't leave a very good surface finish on the lumber. So what it does is it forces us to do something else to it, to plane it down later to get it nice and smooth so that we can use it. So the wood that we actually buy we buy 1 inch thick. However, we pay the lumberyard a fee to plane it down to the 3/4 thickness that we get it at. So it's nice and smooth and it's not all rough like it originally was at the sawmill. So I have to add whatever our dimension is. So ours is 3/4. I will always add a 1/4 inch to it so that I add back that material that they planed off, because I can't bag up all those wood chips and get a refund on it. So any piece of solid wood always gets a 1/4 inch added back to it for its thickness. And that makes the math a lot easier in this instance. So my thickness is 1 inch. So here's the first place we've got to do math. So this is asking me to calculate the board feet or square feet. So my bottom rail is solid wood, so I need to use this equation right here. So I'll get my calculator out and I will say that it is thickness is 1, so 1 times the width is 3 times the length, which is 11, and that equals 33. And I've got to divide all of that by 144. And I get the answer of 0.2, and we'll just round it to 0.23 board feet. Now the cost per board is listed right down here. So we've got everything that we use in Woods 1, and if you're a Woods 2 person, this is going to be a bigger list. We got all the stuff listed down here. I see solid oak is $2.37 a board foot. So I'm going to type in 2.37, and I get $2.37 a board foot. Now to figure out the cost per piece, I just have to multiply these two together. So I got $2.37 times 0.23 board feet, and I get 50, let's call it 55 cents. So my bottom rail, let's get this in here, is 55 cents, right? That's not very much money. So we have the total cost here is how many bottom rails are there. So there is only one bottom rail for me. So I would say my total cost is 55 cents. Let's do another piece. Let's do our stiles. So my stiles are the left and the right side of my face frame, and I have 2 of those. So if I go back to here, I can see that my stiles, I have 2 of them. They're 2 1/16 by 28. So I have 2 of them. They are also built out of oak. They are 2 1/16. And if you want to figure out the decimal, which you're going to have to eventually, you can just go 1 divided by 1/6. I get 0.0625. And I'm actually just going to make the, whoop, that's not what I was going to do. We're going to make this a little bit smaller so it fits in there a little bit easier. There we go. It is 28 inches long, and it is also 1 inch thick. So if I pull out the old calculator, I go 2.0625 times 28 times 1, and I divide it by 144, and I get 0.40 board feet. Cost per board foot is the same as the bottom rail. So my cost per piece is the $2.37 times 40. And I get 95 cents a piece. Not $95, 95 cents a piece. And if I double that, because I have 2 of them, 95 plus 95 is $1.90. Okay, so you've got some other pieces that are solid wood, although if you're in the hybrid class, the one that we kind of took the pause on, you don't have as much out of solid wood and you'll have more out of sheet stock. So I'm going to go to the sheet stock now, and let's do an example that is not solid wood, but particle board. So let's go back here. I'm going to go to my case cut list, and we're going to do the sides. Now, keep in mind, as you're watching this video, your sizes may be different. So you can't just plug in my sizes because yours could be different. But I'm going to do the one on the very top here, the sides. So I got two that are 11 by 28. Oops. So I'll go sides. I have two of them. And this says oak MDF. I'm sorry. MDF just fit nicer. MDF is a type of sheet stock, so we'll just call it oak. And if you want to call it MDF, it's really particle board that we use this term, and maybe your term we did use MDF, but particle board, plywood, it's all sheet stock. And maybe if you even just go SS for sheet stock, that's fine with me. And I should probably change it. In fact, I'll do it right now. If you're watching this and you pull this up, SS stands for sheet stock. If you're looking at the PDF, it may not say that, but I will change all of this right now so we don't get confused. So I've got oak sheet stock. My sides, if you remember back, are 11 inches by 28 inches tall. Now thickness, we can write this in because it'll help us if we ever do develop a cut list from this, but we're not going to factor it into the equation. So my thickness is 0.75 inches. Whoops. So to figure out my square feet, I'm going to use this calculator, and I'm going to go width times length divided by 144. So my 11 times 28 equals divided by 144. So I've got 2.1, or let's call it 2.14 square feet. Okay. Now my price per square foot for 3/4 inch oak sheet stock is $2.80. So then I multiply the 280 times 2.14. I get $5.99 as my cost per piece. And if you did alder, your price is going to be different. So then I just have to put that, double that, because I got two sides. So $5.99 times 2 is $11.98. And that makes sense because my sides are significantly bigger than just a stile or my bottom rail, that my sides are going to be the most expensive part of my project. So I would do the same thing. If you built a door, you're going to use 1/4 inch sheet stock for that panel. And you can look at that in the nightstand packet. It will tell you how big all those pieces are. The last couple things that we've got on here is most of you probably didn't use drawer slides, but if you did a hinge, if you did a door, so let's say I built a door, and not all of you did this, so you won't have to do it, but hinges, I would use 2 hinges for a door, and I'm not going to worry about all that other stuff, but they are $3 each for a total of $6 per project. So now let's explain the rest of the stuff on this page. You're going to need all of this and most likely some of this page. But when you're all done, you're going to add up the total cost. And I'm just going to make up a total cost. I know it's not accurate right now, but you're going to add up a total cost. And I'm sorry, it's kind of clumsy when you're doing a Google Doc and add it in. Let's just say I got to $15. That's not the accurate number. I'm just giving a round number. I got $15. I'm going to multiply it times 20%. And the reason we do that is because there are things that we don't account for in the bill of materials, like screws and nails and glue and saw blades, all these things that get consumed, but it's really hard to put in an exact dollar figure. I'm not going to make you measure out the volume of glue that you used. We just kind of say about 20% extra pays for all of those peripheral things. So to figure out what your actual cost will be, it'd be that whatever you get for the total cost, all added up, times 1.2, 120%, and you'll get to $18. Again, these numbers aren't accurate. I'm just supposing because it makes life easier. If you built this project without a door, when you add up all your total costs, I'm imagining you're going to be in about the $35 to $40 range. If you built a door, you'll be in like the $45 range, or I'm sorry, you'll be in the $40 range. If you built a drawer with it, then you're going to get to like the $50 range by the time you add all that stuff up. So do all this, save it as a PDF. So if you don't know how to do that, you'll just go File, Download as a PDF, and that's what you'll upload up to Canvas to get the score for your bill of materials.